Okay.
Hi everyone, here we are,
Hi,
Katie,
guys.
Katie and Jules, and here we are back for another session, and we're talking about co-parenting, and we're talking about partners and what they are now doing. And it's been a few weeks, hasn't it, since we last connected and did something together. So over the last few weeks, interestingly, there's been progress not
Hmm.
just with our own, I guess, like our own partners, because we both met somebody first, I guess, due to the nature of the thing, and but our partners have now met somebody, and so it's interesting how the dynamics of the whole thing changes again. So
Hmm.
we're just going to have we haven't got a script, we don't know what was going to come out of our mouths, but if we need to apologise, we'll apologise now for anything, and we don't want to upset anyone. But we're just doing real chat, which is the name of the podcast. And so, Katie, do you want to talk about what's recently happened to you and how that affected you?
Yeah, thank you, Jules. I think, yeah, and I think probably apologies as well because I've not done any shorts, probably because this has thrown me a little bit. So when people used to ask me, do you think your ex will meet somebody? I always said no. And it wasn't through kind of, I don't want him to meet anybody. I just knew that I'd met him at university when he'd not been interested in anybody at uni, literally nobody, even when he was like young and free. And it was we got together in our final year, and even then he was very much focused on his cycling, and I kind of was second fiddle. So when we'd separated, he seemed quite happy because he either had the girls, and he was a brilliant dad when he was with the girls and very present, or he was then cycling and running and seemed very happy. So only literally a few weeks ago, actually, a few friends said, "Oh, and is Steve with anybody?" And I said, "Oh, no, I don't know, but I don't think so." And I had to reflect on that, thinking, is it just me sort of wanting that? But anyway, I didn't think it was. I thought he seemed very happy. He'd already made lots of comments about my partner that he wasn't going to do that because his priority was the girls. So it was quite a lot of guilt coming my way when he found out about my partner. And so yeah, I never thought he would because I thought he'd quite enjoyed having the upper hand. Oh, my cat's obviously making a presence. She needs to be part of the podcast. But anyway, um, so then at the start of the Easter break, I got an email just to say, just to let you know, in the sort of wanting to be honest, wanting to be transparent, I'm seeing somebody, and it absolutely floored me. I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting the email. I wasn't expecting the feelings. I tried to do what Julie sometimes recommends, like a bit of a body scan to see how I was feeling. And I was hoping that I'd just feel fine. Oh, no, I didn't. I was jealous. I was like I don't know why I was jealous. I'm very, very happy with my relationship. I'm kind of come to terms that our marriage wasn't successful. I've really worked through those feelings that this is the best thing for everybody, including the girls. I've let go of so much guilt. So it wasn't a jealousy that I wanted to be with him, but it was
Mm.
almost that child have him, nobody can have him, which is really immature. And I had to work through that. I mean, I was stalking her name on Facebook. I mean, I was low. Like I'm not proud. There was red wine and there was Facebook stalking. Um, and I asked him to tell the girls because he'd made me tell the girls. And there's a bit, I know we're going to come on to it probably, Julie, there's a bit of hypocrisy because when he found out about my partner, he was not happy at all. He really made me tell the girls at a time when I didn't think the girls needed to know. It was early days. And as I said before, my daughter was having a few challenges and I didn't feel it was appropriate. But so I told them. So when I told him, he they said that he needed to tell the girls. He got really quite unkind and said, "Don't threaten me," and all this. And I was a bit like, but you told me, and it was really hard not to revert back to that. I kept thinking everything Jay said, don't reply straight away, and it's just his raw
Yes.
hamburger. And actually, Julie, you reminded me of that, which I needed because I was slipping back into that let's email, text back and forth, and it
Yeah.
wasn't good for anyone. Jules kindly reminded me not to eat the raw hamburger, and I did have a bit of a reset. And it made me think, well, actually, stop stalking on Facebook, put the red wine down for a minute and think, why are you feeling like you're feeling? Because this is not getting anywhere. I think some of it was just the unknown. Like,
Mm.
who is this Lisa? He's not told the girls, they haven't introduced her. I didn't know who she was. So that just felt a bit unnerving in one way, which is strange, but I didn't know. And maybe a bit of less of control from me, which is not necessarily good. But then I thought, you know what, if he's happy, that's going to reflect back on the girls. It
Yeah.
might mean that I've got more opportunities with my partner because
Mm.
I'm not going to feel as guilty about this. The girls have opened up conversations around it, which is really positive. And then we had a pretend Easter because I was away for Easter. So I invited him after having lots of grumpy messages, but I thought no, and I could do with an Oscar. I did very good that day. But
Good.
when the girls were off playing, I when the girls were off playing, I said, "Oh, I hear Lisa's a really good runner," because the girls had said to me about part PB for part run, and he started like, could see us a bit like, "Oh gosh, like she's talking about." But I thought, no, we need to bring this into the open, not hide it. Like, if this is how
Yeah.
we're going to co-parent and we're going to have a blended family, then. So he was shocked, and I said, "Oh no, I'm only joking. She's like, it's great." And he went, "Yeah, she's a really good runner." And he could tell he was really nervous, but I kind of pushed just a little bit. I said, "I'm really happy for you." And he went, "Well, I've only been on a few dates. It's not a deep relationship like yours." But I thought, just leave it. Like, at least we're having the conversation. And yeah, and I feel so much better. I still do feel a little bit, if I'm honest. I still do. Obviously, I was with Steve for over 20 years. And you go to that little bit like, oh, is she going to make him happier than I made him? And it goes back to me never feeling enough, because I think that's deep down where a lot of my issues have come. But then I'm like, I read that Mel Robbins Let Them book, and I did a short on it actually, I think recently. And I'm like, let him be happy. Let them do their relationship. Let me do my relationship. As long as the girls are okay about it. They're really keen to meet her. And I was getting all worked up about, should I get involved in that? How? Then I'm like, no, that's for Steve to navigate. I had to navigate it with my new partner. And
Yeah.
I actually feel a bit lighter. I mean, I did hope that now he would sign the divorce papers, but I'm not sure. But I think in the long run, all it can be is positive, because I think I was proud of me. Some of the things he'd messaged in the emails weren't pleasant, and I didn't bite to a lot of those. So I kind of thought, well, I've come on a lot as well.
Mhm.
And deep down now, I am genuinely happy for him. Last night we stood at the athletics track. Our daughter had an athletics meet, and we were chatting, and we didn't talk about her, but we stood and chatted about some events to do with our daughter, and we had about 15, 20 minutes normal, nice conversation. And I thought, you know what? This co-parenting journey, it's just, that's what it is, isn't it? I know it's so cliche. It is just a journey. Because we've said before, you never get married to think you're going to get divorced. No
No.
one would get married. So then you don't get married to get divorced, and then to navigate you falling in love with somebody else, them meeting somebody else, the guilt as a parent of already divorcing, and then now your children, and like we've both got teenagers, trying to navigate the idea of mum and dad both being in different relationships, these new people coming in, who are they, what are they, and mum and dad kissing these people, all that teenage ugh. And so I think generally I dipped, I stalked, and now I'm coming back up. And I'm showing myself a bit of grace and thinking, oh, that's okay, all that's normal, it's
Mm.
just part of the process. And all I can see now is hopefully this is going to be positive for everybody.
Yeah.
um I think my dad's maybe now finally realised, 3 years on, if now Steve's moved on as well, then maybe we all can move on. I think it's been positive for everybody. But like we said before, the divorce doesn't just happen to the husband and wife, does it? It happens to the children, it happens to the extended family. So it's just going to take time. And I've just decided to give myself grace and stop stalking anyone. So I apologise, anyone who's called Lisa, I've stalked you on Facebook.
Because you have been followed.
Because you have been followed by me. So I apologize. That side's over. So yeah, that's my update. So any tips anybody has on partners, that jealousy, because I was jealous, that and it's not a nice emotion, jealousy. And I think I had to name it though, that I was feeling jealous. And actually once I named it, I sat with it, and then I've kind of let it go a little bit. And I'm all right now, I think.
That's great because it's like this emotion, isn't it, that comes over you and it's primal, isn't it? Because you feel
Mhm,
it's like going back to this, ancient times when we're territorial in a lot of things, like they're our
mhm,
children, this is our husband, even if it's an ex.
mhm,
Like this little bit of this connection that is very difficult
mhm.
to if it's done in the right way, it's manageable. You can manage it because you've addressed that emotion, and
Yeah.
once you've addressed and you can feel it, and you go, okay, I can release it. I can,
Yeah.
there's certain techniques that you can do to get that out of your body for sure.
Mhm.
And I think the time that we've had, it's not like, I think the worst that probably is when someone's had an affair and then they've gone off with someone. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot more to deal with. Ours is totally different, as in
Mhm.
like we kind of came to a natural end, very similar
Mhm.
endings, wasn't it, really?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
that I felt that. So when Chris, when he found, told me that he'd met somebody, I was quite happy for him. I was like,
Mm,
oh, but I did have this moment, this feeling
mm,
popped up, and I thought, this emotion popped up, and I thought, what am I doing with this emotion? And it just kind of, I just didn't absorb it, and I thought, do you know
mm.
what? I'm so glad. And I don't know whether or not it's because I've, the things that I do daily just to release things anyway, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it was that. But all I've said is I wanted him to be happy because I think as soon as he's happy with
Mm,
somebody,
mm,
he acts totally different with me. Like
yeah.
you said, you met at the
Absolutely.
track. Did you not feel like you were talking to a tiny bit of a different version of Steve?
Yeah, and I did think at one point, because he changed his tune around us, me going about some other things anyway, and I did think, oh, I wonder if he's talking to her and she's kind of also going, really? Like, I think in time I'd like to know more about her because a
Yeah,
couple of the leaders I've stalked have got children. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to know a bit more, and some of that is me just being a control freak. I do appreciate that, but I am seeing a gentler side to him, a more open side. Um, yeah, and my last night was, and do you know what last night felt like? It felt like I was talking to a friend at the track, and that's what I'd love to get to. Maybe I'm being really optimistic, but I am going to manifest that and put that out there that we are friends because actually we're going to be connected. And this is where my jealousy subsided when I thought, I really hope it works for him with her or with somebody else or whatever. But actually, we're going to be connected for the rest of our lives because of our girls. And no one's going to come in and break that. And I don't want them to. My partner doesn't want to break that. He's not their dad, you know? So actually, it kind of made me more like I really, really value and respect and like want to look after that co-parenting relationship more because it made me almost go, oh, I don't want to lose that connection with him. So like we did do the pretend Easter, and actually maybe if anything it made me put a bit more effort into that co-parenting relationship because I thought, oh, I don't want to lose this because I do really value him as a friend. So I don't know, it made me really appreciate him maybe more in one way. Once I'd got over my jealousy, that actually some really good qualities of him, and maybe he appreciates me more. And it also made me realise because my eldest said to me when I did say, "Girls, I was quite open with them," and then he went, "Well, now you know how Dad feels when you met him." And I thought when I met my partner, and I thought,
yeah,
yeah, maybe I didn't show as much grace or empathy or sensitivity. I could have probably done things better. I'm not going to beat myself up. It is what it is, but
yeah.
I probably could have done it differently. And it just made me, yeah, really appreciate that co-parenting relationship. And oh, there's my cat. I really want to nurture it more than ever now, really. Yeah, so that it's been a learning curve for all of us. Oh my gosh.
I think that cat wants to be on telly. I
Oh,
think
I'm just going to walk and talk because my dog needs to go out. So I'm just going to walk and talk. This really is real life, isn't it?
it's real life, so real life. And I did bring a red wine. I know it's a bit early, but I thought, well,
Now I think I need a red wine as I'm walking and talking with my dog.
so what's been
But
funny?
yeah, it's been positive. It's been positive. It's just another thing along the journey, isn't it? Like it's just another thing. And like we've said before, I'd love to one day maybe bring out a roadmap or a book or something because there's just no roadmap for this. And you can only reflect. I was saying to Jules earlier, a friend of mine's going through a similar situation, and I was able to give her advice. And I thought sometimes you can only do that once you've gone through it and been through it. And I just think everything makes you stronger. All these experiences make me stronger. Admitting those weaknesses and the jealousy and that, and I was proud of myself that probably the old Katie 6 months ago would have sat with that jealousy for probably like a month or so. I would have really, whereas actually I sat with it for maybe 3 or 4 days, could be shorter. My
You're
aim is to
growing.
make it shorter,
You
but
are
it could have been
growing.
a lot longer. So I do feel quite, when I went home actually this weekend, we were all together for the first time, or my siblings for a long time. And my brother said to me, God, you're like a different person. He said, I don't almost recognize you. Now I look identical. And he just said, I can't tell you. He said, you just feel different. And I thought, yeah,
But
that's so nice to be recognized, to be different. And that's only I saw him in October. So it's not ages and ages. Well, no, I saw him in February, sorry, February, half term. So just in the last 6, 7 weeks, I think,
wow,
yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, go me.
that's
um,
brilliant. That's
but it's
growth,
nice
isn't
to be able
it?
to
'Cause
reflect a little bit, isn't it? And I think, yeah, so it's just it's just all learning, isn't it? And
all of it.
reflecting and not being too hard on yourself. That's what I said to my friend who's going through it. it's too easy to be hard on yourself, and you just have to think you do the best with what you can and with what you've got at the time, don't you? And that's all you can do. And as long as you're trying to, I always think as long as your actions are full of grace and are full of kindness, then you're going to get some things wrong. Absolutely. I look back on
Of
my co-parenting journey and I think I could have done that a bit better. I could have done that with a bit more sensitivity, but I didn't do anything to deliberately hurt anybody. And in time, I think
no,
that comes out, and everyone settles down and you learn a new norm.
we're all learning, aren't we? We're growing and learning and we're turning into different versions of ourselves. So
Absolutely.
it's
But that's
brilliant.
exciting, isn't it?
It's exciting. It means that there's more versions, better versions, more
Yeah.
improved versions out there because you're willing to put the work in and willing and
Yeah.
aware. The awareness is the most important thing. You're aware of it. You're willing
But
to
Julie,
put
then
it.
that's a really key point. So I'm just now going to let my dog back in. But it's about working at it. No, like at the gym, if you want to get stronger, you work at it each day, etc., etc.
Yes.
Sorry. But if you want to work at, no, I was doing all my things that Jay had suggested. So I was doing
Yeah.
the bags and all of that. And I
Mm.
was doing it every day. But then I was getting myself, I was feeling better. So I stopped journaling. I stopped doing the bags. I stopped doing the daily affirmations. But actually, you can't, can you? You
No,
don't go to the gym and lift a weight or do a 5K and then go, well, I'm never going to do a 5K ever again because I've done a 5K.
I'm
If you
fit
don't do a
now.
5K, you're going to lose your fitness. And actually, the whole Steve thing with his girlfriend made me think, I need to go back to my bags because that really worked for me. I need to go back to some of the things that Jay said. I need to, so it's like someone said to me, don't brush your teeth once and then say, brilliant, my teeth are cleaned. You keep having to clean your teeth.
Yeah.
And I think this was a reminder to me that you do have to work at it if you want to grow, if you want to change, and if you want to have this happy, amazing life that we all can have, then you have to work at it and it's not going to just come easy. And I think that was a reminder for me.
Yeah. That my clients often, it's so easy to fall off it, but and I say to them, no, you need to keep with it because
Mm,
you quite easily go back to the identity
mm,
that you've created now. It's took work and effort and time and months, and you might not go back to the old version of Katie, but
mm.
you definitely to grow as a person that you want to grow into, and it's every day. It's every
Yeah,
single day,
every day,
every
isn't it?
morning, every day. What affirmations,
Yeah.
what you say, how you want your day to go. Setting intentions of the day that you
But
want.
Julie, we laughed a little bit with the girls because we said we need to be more Julie. Because at Christmas, when I was nervous about Christmas and we did a podcast on that about us being together, I kept saying, I'm manifesting it. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be perfect. And it was the best Christmas we ever had. And even my eldest would say that. So then this weekend, when I went away, so everyone being together for my mum's birthday is amazing in one way, but also can be very stressful. So on the way over on the plane, I said to the girls, we're just going to manifest this. It's going to be the best weekend ever. It's going to be no fallouts. It's going to be the best weekend ever. Do you
Yeah.
know what? And it was. There was. It was the best time we've all been together. We're getting back on the plane, and the girl said, "Mum, we didn't argue." And I'm like, "God, it's so powerful because I'd already decided this weekend was going to be good." And I think it's those reminders that every day, like when I did a podcast, I think I did a short on the 101 things you want in life, and I did that list. And I was so powerful. But I'm going to have to print that off because it's on my iPad. I never look at it. Do you
Yeah.
know? So my dad said to me, "Oh, how are you getting on with the poetry book?" I'm like, "Oh, I hadn't done that actually because I'm not reminded about it." So
Yeah.
I know these tools now through you and through Jay and through reading, but unless I work on them every day, they just get filed away, don't they? That there's something you once did,
Yes.
but I need to keep doing them so that I can keep evolving, keep growing, and keep becoming that main character because I can see it so easily to
Yeah.
slip back into being kind of the, I don't know, not the person I was going.
You need reminders, absolutely. So you could either keep going with every day, like just put down your
Mm.
top 10 or top 20, so of of your goals and wishes and dreams. Or,
Mhm.
and you can also put it as a screensaver on your iPhone.
That's what I thought I might do, a
Yeah.
screensaver, because then they're there.
You
Because I
might.
have knocked off a couple of them and I was like buzzing and they're amazing. And then, but then I just need reminders about that. And as we were saying, the reason we haven't done a podcast for so long is because life is so busy. And I know I'm like on tight time tonight. And so you need reminders, don't you? Because it's soon, I
Yes.
think it's so easy for us as women. And I said this to my friend who's going through recent kind of co parenting. we put ourselves down the list, don't we? Priority order. Our kids are always first, and then we've got work, and then we may be thinking about our body, so we go to the gym, and our mind just seems to keep slowly going down the priority list. But actually, if our mind's not good,
No,
then none of the rest is going to happen, is it?
we need to be at the top because when we're
Yeah.
strong, everything else. And if you're remind yourself that everything is a mirror and you choose that. So, like you were saying, I'm going to
Yeah.
have the perfect day. I say to
Mm.
myself every day, today is the best day of my life. And I know it might sound woo woo,
No.
but I am setting the intention for the day. Even if
Yeah.
it's
I
not
used to think it
perfect,
was,
it
if I'm
doesn't
honest. When you
matter.
first said it, I'm like, oh, Jules, that's a bit out there. But actually,
Every
the
day is
more you
the
practice it, it gives it back to you. Honestly, we've never had a family weekend like that. The Easter weekend, the Easter pretend thing, I said, I was like, oh God. Then Esme's like, all you're going to do is argue. I went, Esme, we're not. It's going to be brilliant. We're going to have such a lovely time. And we did. Not one argument.
day.
So when Jay talks about that taking accountability, that's what I see it as. So rather than going, oh, it's going to be awful when we get together because all we do is argue, that's what's going to happen. Like you say, it's the mirror, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you put out is what you're going to get back.
Exactly. And also like just imagine that we also more we can create we can create an argument in our heads that hasn't even happened yet and then
Yeah,
see it happening, it happens because we've created
yeah,
it here first. So it's all of that quantum physics and everything,
yeah.
that I've like bang on about. It sounds woo woo.
No, but it
It's so true.
works.
It's so
It
true.
works. You have to just
Yeah.
commit to it, though, don't you? You just have to commit to it. But
Yes. Commit.
honestly, I feel, and I'm not physically, but I feel about 5 stone lighter every time I talk to you because you just give us tools. Honestly, Jules, you need to be everywhere for everybody in someone's pocket because you just give us tools. Because the more you let it go, and that let them book's been amazing for me, like let that go. But then what can I do about it? Like you say, this morning woke up at 5 o'clock and I'm trying to get back into the gym. And I thought, no, today's going to be really good. And I did more like these plank holds we do with our PT. I did more than I normally do. But I think that was because I thought, no, today's going to be a good day. And it's not about the plank. And I couldn't care less in one way what I look like. It's not about that, especially everything with my daughter. But it's about pushing yourself and being strong and having that positive mindset.
Healthy
And
body
I
and
use it in work now because we get a lot of parental complaints that I get involved in, and some really heated meetings that could be really, really sensitive and really emotionally driven. But I just go into those meetings now thinking this is all going to be okay. We will find a solution. So I
yeah.
often start the meeting by saying to parents, this is going to be a tricky meeting. Like, I appreciate that. And we're going to listen to everyone's views. But by the end, we will find a solution. Because sometimes heads say to me, Katie, you can't promise that. I'm like, no, but if we go in thinking this is going to be a difficult meeting, we're not going to find an outcome. We won't. But if we go in with the mindset
Of
that we will find a solution,
solution.
it shifts because everyone's sitting in the meeting. You can see them thinking, oh gosh, we better find a solution because Katie's told us that we're going to find a solution.
You have actually set the intention, and everybody's mind is going to be shifting to thinking, right,
Yeah,
okay, you're setting a positive goal without it even happening yet.
yeah.
So
And
you
you can see
know that
people thinking it,
and it's
literally.
oh yeah. Then
Yeah,
mine's going, okay, we're going to find a solution today and it's going to be positive. So what's that going to be? And then people's energy work together.
yeah.
And then
It's
you're like, oh,
amazing.
good. And I bet you've had more successes.
Oh, absolutely. Because I just also let it go. I'm not so worried because I know now we will find a solution, even if it's a tiny nugget. But often some of the parents that I work with, that's all we need. We just need a glimmer. We just need a little bit of hope. And from that, it's a bit like from the acorn and oak tree comes, isn't it? Because from that, then there's a ripple effect.
Rose.
Um, so honestly, I just think the things I'm learning through co-parenting, I'm almost grateful. Jay talks about this. Almost grateful that I've gone through some of the things I've gone through with my daughter and with Steve because they've taught me things that and given me skills and tools that I'll take into everybody's life. It's a bit like when Jay used to talk about this sandcastle that we all built and the waves coming and washing away the sandcastle. And said, it's inevitable. Your life was always going to do this. But it's there for a reason. Let those waves come. Let them teach you. And I'm really seeing more and more that's true. Do you know? It's
Life,
so
isn't it?
true.
A
Yeah.
journey of lessons and of you know,
But
and
then you see it as exciting rather than seeing it as, oh God, what's going to go wrong? It's like, that's okay. That's here to teach me something. It is just so, but you have to keep practicing, like I say, because it's
Yeah,
so easy to fall back into
yeah,
negativity. So you have to work. I suppose, sorry, I'm just conscious of the time, but I think
yeah.
the one thing I would say that I would take from the whole experience of Steve having the girlfriend is you've got to work at this. Do you know? So it did throw me. It did put me back. I named the emotion. I sat with it, but then I tried to move on. Do you know? And I think it's about being kind to yourself. But the thing it taught me most, I suppose, was one to really appreciate my co-parent. It really did. It made me really think I want to appreciate and nurture that relationship
Oh,
because
yes.
it's always going to be there. Not take it for granted. Really nurture it like you would a relationship. Do you know, like a new relationship? It's just a different type of relationship. And someone said to me, and I really liked it when I was talking to somebody about this, going, oh, I'm so jealous. And she said, you've just got to think that love you had for your husband, it's still there, but it's in a different shape. And I like that because I thought the love is still there because it's love about our children and love about our family and
You've
love
created.
about that. And I like that. And I said the girls actually, because they said something when they were all nervous about daddy's new girlfriend. I said, we've still got our family, it's just in a different shape. And I quite like that. So
I like
I've
that.
rabbited on loads and do apologise. I need some red wine now, really. But I'd say my take home is that we've got to keep practicing all those things that
Yeah,
Jules and Day and all the things we do we can't take for granted, that we just have to keep working on them and we will get through it. I teach children when they have I always get them like a post, like a long toilet tube that you'd put a poster in, those cardboard tubes,
yeah, yeah.
and you put a little car in the tube and you're going along and then you say, oh no, so you write on the tube something's gone wrong. So obviously for a child it might be a friendship, but for us, divorce, girlfriend. But you
Shove
try
that
to turn
through
your
the
car
tube.
around and the car can't turn around because it's not big enough. So all you can do is keep going through it. And eventually the visual is the car obviously falls out of the tube. It leaves that dark tunnel. And actually, it's a really good visual. And I have to remind myself that I'm that little car and I'm going along my tube, but eventually I will get through it. And another analogy, and then I promise I'll shut up, is because I'm very teacher orientated, is know the story, we're going on a bear hunt. You can't go over it, you can't go under it, you've just got to go through it.
Right.
I was listening to a funny podcast the other day and they said divorce is just that. Divorce is like the bear hunt. You've just got to go through the shit, she said. You've just got to go through it. And I like that.
Oh my God, you know what? That is probably what that means. You know, when
Yeah.
you think
When
about
you
it,
look at it for the
a
kids,
life like a metaphor.
yes, like a metaphor, isn't it?
And you're like, oh my God, you do
I
have to
know.
go through it.
You've
So
just
it's
got
like
to go through it. That
you
sticky water, the muddy wood, like the bog.
can't go over it, you can't go under
Yeah,
it. You've got to go
just
through
got to
it.
go through it.
It's a life lesson. But everything is a journey. So I guess it's like, and your perception as well is super important. But we can go through all of that on a
Yeah.
different podcast.
So
Because
actually, my thing for tonight is just go on a bear hunt.
go on a
You've
bear
got to
hunt
go on a
and you
bear hunt
have to go through
with a
it.
glass of red wine.
But, and also, it's like, how do you look at the bear hunt? How, you're going through it. Do you take it on board and absorb it
Yeah,
fully absorb the emotion, or do you look at
yeah,
it and think, actually, it's okay to experience
yeah.
it. It's
It is.
okay.
It's all right.
It's
It's all
all
right. We teach
right.
children all the time in my job. It's okay to feel these emotions, but we give them tools then to move through the emotions so they're not stuck in it. And I think that's what I was in danger of, being stuck of the jealousy. But
Mm,
actually, I've managed to move on from that, and it feels positive. And actually, I don't wake up thinking, "Oh, Steve's got a girlfriend now." Whereas for those 4 days, it consumed me,
it
and I
did.
don't have that feeling in my stomach anymore. And I'm just back to focusing on me, like without
Yeah.
being awful. Let him do what he's doing and just focus on me because that's all I've got control over. So I'll stop talking
Yes.
now, but just
And
go on
then
a bear hunt.
feel the emotion. It's okay to feel it and just let it go, because trapping the emotion is going to just come back and come back and come back. So it's good to just breathe it through and accept it,
Yeah,
write
yeah,
about it, and get it
yeah,
out, which is what you've done, which is amazing.
yeah. Oh, well, only thanks to you,
So,
Jill.
cheers. I mean, I know you're on water, but I'm just had
I'm
a
on
glass of red
water tonight
wine.
only because I rushed in from tutoring, but there will be a glass of wine tonight. Don't worry.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, but perfect. Thanks, Jules, for your company as always.
Oh, you too. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.